Greetings! My name is Brad Hessel, and I am running for chair of the Wake County Libertarian Party. I have been politically active for most of my life, initially as a peace Democrat working for George McGovern in 1972, then as a deficit and debt hawk Republican voting for Ronald Reagan in 1984, and eventually fed up with both establishment parties as an independent starting in 2002. In 2007, I discovered that Ron Paul was more than just the best non-professional baseball player ever to serve in Congress. He was running for president on a platform calling for both peace and financial responsibility. And he was against all war, not just wasting trillions of dollars on policing the world. He opposed the counterproductive war on poverty, which entrapped millions in perpetual destitution. He opposed the war on terror, which extended to spying on Americans and murdering innocent civilians abroad. And he opposed the insane war on drugs, which engendered a black market worth billions and nurtured powerful, violent criminal enterprises both in the U.S. and south of the border, while unjustly turning millions of our poorer, browner fellow citizens into criminals just because alcohol was not their recreational drug of choice. I donated to Dr. Paul's campaign in 2008, and when he ran again in 2012, I worked for his campaign here in North Carolina. After the GOP refused to even let him speak at their convention, it was pretty natural for many of us who'd participated in his campaign to switch over to working for former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson, running on many of the same issues. He'd started 2012 also running for the GOP nomination, but after being frozen out of the debates, he'd pursued and won the endorsement of the Libertarian Party. The co-chair of the Johnson campaign in North Carolina, Jason Melahany, introduced me to WakeLP, and in 2013, I became their emergency treasurer. The incumbent was moving to Oakland and ended up serving in that capacity for 8 years. So, from 2005 to 2014, WakeLP was not very active. The party raised a total of $3,000 and ran a total of 5 candidates for local office during that decade. The last 10 years have seen some improvement. We raised a total of $104,000 and ran 70 local candidates. 8 of those candidates got more votes than the difference between their establishment party opponents. The Libertarian vote potentially decided the outcome of those races. By the way, 2 of those 8 were me when I ran for NC Senate in 2018 and 2024. The contrast is stark. In 2014, hardly any Wake voters or politicians knew who we were. 10 years later, while I can't guarantee that every voter in Wake County now knows who we are, most definitely every politician does. They know our votes matter. They take our phone calls, they fill out our surveys, and they're willing to discuss our issues. Issues like zoning reform to address the lack of affordable and missing middle housing, securing the right to run a business in your home, the right to build a granny flat on your property, the right to rent your property short term, relaxing local restrictions on the sale and imbibing of alcohol, focusing law enforcement efforts on violent and property crimes, not personal drug use and immigration issues, implementing ranked choice voting, defend the guard legislation, and so on. If I'm elected chair, my priority will be to work with county and municipal elected officials and employees on our issues with the objective of achieving greater liberty for everyone in Wake County. Of course, we will continue to recruit, train, and support local candidates for public office and sponsor events and support local charities, but we will also step up our efforts to recruit and train volunteers and to deploy those folks to project a presence at city council meetings and citizen advisory boards, as well as more outreach opportunities such as at street fairs, schools, holiday events, and so forth. And I would like to see us develop a more robust social calendar in addition to the occasional sporting event or paintball escapade. How about a book club or a softball team? And I'm open to suggestion, as are all the other announced candidates for election to the executive committee with whom I've spoken. If you have an idea for how we might advance the Liberty Ball here in Wake County, please don't be shy. Our annual convention on Wednesday, April 9th at Tobacco Road on Jones Street in Raleigh would be a great opportunity to talk it up. Look for a link to the pre-registration page in a comment below. Hope to see you there, and if you do make it, please vote for me, Brad Hessel, for WakeLP Chair. Unless, of course, there's someone else even better than I running by then. I'm really good, so if someone else steps up who's even better, I'll be voting for that person too. My name is Brad Hessel, and I approve this message.